Welcome back as we continue our coverage from the Excelsior 250, the opening round of the TIORC Championship for 2020, with the not-so-simple formality of the first 84-kilometer loop done and dusted that counted as a prologue, which would therefore decide the starting order going forward into the 2 laps main race. Let's first take a look at the guys that unfortunately didn't make it all of the way. For the B63 of Quinton Lessing and Noel Acton, even though they made the big trip from the Western Cape, a broken drive shaft put them onto the sidelines and they would not see the flag at the Excelsior. Behind Kruger and Albertus Venter this time around, mechanicals dogging them in the early part of the season, they would have to go back to the short drawing board and figure things out before round number 2. Benerick and Pierce Botma, who had high hopes of upsetting the apple cart in the Class B Championship. This time around, the B12 ran out of gearbox. That was it. No drive, no results. For Ignis and Gerard Duplessis, the E8, unfortunately this time around, also suffering mechanical issues. It's often a case of things going wrong at the early events. Shakedowns, maybe 1 or 2 bolts not tightened in the off-season, but as the season goes on, we see more consistency out of all of the crews. The Isuzu would not make the lap this time around. For Rodney Cook and Greg Parkin, who had literally taken 12 months to do the big rebuild on the E14, this time around it was an absolute horror show. A blown engine that would see them not only step out of the event, but have to go shopping and spend some quality cash early in the season. Stijn Viviers and Alida Fouchier, a new pairing, an old vehicle, and unfortunately the age is starting to show. It was electrical problems that stepped them off out of the event. For the G11, they went into limp mode just 10 kilometers into the race after looking so promising in the prologue. That dropped them way down the order. For the T16 of Jannie Visser and Donnie Moret, who were looking for a consistent run in one of the older Fords, and after running initial strong pace, a broken bolt on the rear suspension put them out of the running. After not lifting through the early part of the run, Cobus Fourie and Philippe Leroux looked like they were on for an absolutely dominating run. Mechanicals, though, crept up on them, and perhaps it was just asking a little bit too much in the early stages for the P44. They were out. Now for the guys that did make the finish line. The E16 and the pairing of Wayne Smith and Victor Fincham were having a day they would rather forget. They had to overcome many issues to eventually make it to the finish, 18th production and 6th in Class E. Another crew with a day to forget was that of Werner and Leon Mostert, looking to nail down another number 1 plate in the Class Gs. They didn't have things all their own way and eventually finished 17th in production and 5th in class. That would have been expected at least a top 3 overall and a win in category. For Johan Besson and Rudy van Heerden, after a few DNFs last season, they again had hassles. But this time they pressed on to bring the Hilux home in 5th place in Class E and 16th production vehicle. This is against all odds. This is off-road championship racing, and you have to bring it to the finish line no matter what. Hats off to Besson and van Heerden for toughing it out. For Suez Moret and Jacques Leroux, the race took its toll and they had too many mechanical problems. But they did push on. Finally, they missed out on a podium by just 1 place, 4th in Class E. They were definitely hoping to take the fight to the Can-Ams in the lone Polaris. LD Erasmus and Andre Geldenes tried as they might, but they didn't have a clean run and also narrowly missed out on a Class podium finish. 6th place in the Class G at the end of play was still a good run for the Polaris. Third spot in Class G belonged to the G87 crew, and with that, 13th place overall productions went to Theo Erasmus and Eddie Odendahl. The crew of the E18, Manru Millman and Peter Badenhorst, were elated as they crossed the finish line in a well-deserved and respectable podium class position. They ended up taking 3rd in Class E. Hats off to the kids.